It's really people that make a house a home. And in my work life, Mike is one of the people in my home. Welcome to the show, my friend. How are you?
I'm great, thank you.
It's been fantastic working every day here at Lorraine Gregory Communications, having Drake Media Network, being housed here. And then we got to become friends. And then all of a sudden, I discovered that you have the most amazing talent. And I asked you, I said, would you please come on the show? You're humble, you are kind-hearted. There's no way that anyone would ever just see you walking down the street and think that you're the guy. You're the master behind these masterpieces. They are simply beautiful. Furthermore, Mike, while I'm throwing all these accolades on you, you really weren't formally trained. So I want to kind of talk about how it started for you and how you were able to create this. So was it a contest? You said something about your parents entered you into a contest?
Well, I've always had the God-given ability. My mother was a tremendous artist. My father, not so much. He couldn't draw a stick figure to save his life. My mother's passion was horses. She used to draw horses. So as I got older, she saw that I had the talent for art. So she actually took me to a class where I learned how to paint with oils. And that was the only art class that I ever took as a kid. And I just remembered the lessons that I learned from that, and I applied it to all of the other paintings that I did going forward. But for the most part, I'm what you would call self-taught. I wasn't an apprentice. I didn't have a master that I studied under. So yeah, it's all self-taught.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And you've won national awards, all types of things. Your heart is really, you're a Midwesterner, just like I am.
Yeah.
And conservation's important to you. So when you're capturing the essence of your subject matter, what is it that you're most trying to communicate?
I think what I'm trying to communicate most is that, most people go through life and they just, life gets by. They don't stop and take a look at what's around them. So what I try to do with my paintings is sort of like capture that moment, where somebody can get drawn into that scene, or they're like, oh, I've never noticed something like that before, or just sort of like drawn into nature. So.
And there's a tenderness to them. They're quite beautiful. Even if you didn't like wildlife, or even if, people are really truly drawn into them. How do you decide what the focal point will be of each painting? Like, where do you start? Do you lay down the sky and grass first? Like, how do you know what it's going to be when it grows up?
So when I come up with a concept, I don't really know what the concept's going to be. I might have an idea in my head, or let's say if I'm driving on the way home, like I'll see something and I'll jot it down on a notepad, like, oh, that looks really cool, or I should go back and paint that. So sometimes I really don't know. The title might become the painting, or the painting becomes the title. I have no idea how it's going to evolve. But once I've decided on the subject matter, I will usually start with the background.
Okay.
I'll do the background first, and then some of the midground, and then the foreground. So it's a layered type of thing.
When you were talking about the top portrait that we have here on set with us, it's a barn swallow?
It's a barn swallow.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is it?
You've seen them around.
Yeah.
They're around here, and you'll probably see them a lot more now that you've taken
what it
notice
looks
of the
like.
painting. Right.
It's really fabulous. This one also won some awards.
This one actually in 2006, and now that I say that out loud, that's 13 years ago. Wow, where does the time go? That it won the People's Choice and first place in the wildlife art exhibit at the New York State Fair. So, and I painted that in 2 days. I was kind of behind the gun, and I knew I wanted to submit something, and I was really inspired. And I sat down and I painted for 2 days straight. And when it was finished, I packed it up and sent it off. And that was it. It was all
done.
It was all done.
Signed, sealed, delivered. And the bottom piece that you have with us today?
The bottom piece, I didn't submit that to any competitions or anything. It was just a piece that I was passionate about, and I just wanted to sit down and paint it, So
and it makes you
that's
happy.
really kind of what it's all about. You never know what it's going to become. I mean, I have the passion for it. Sometimes I might go months without painting, and then other days I'll just get into the studio and I'll just sit there for hours and hours and hours and never come up. You know, I'll go to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning. You know, so.
And was there another image that you wanted to talk about today?
Oh yeah, I have the smaller piece there. It's just you know, I paint in different sizes. The largest size that I do is probably like 18 by 24, 20 by 26. But then I do smaller pieces like this, and this one was 7 inches by like 14 inches. And it's in oil. These are in acrylics, that's in oil paints. But I just thought it was a neat subject, and a lot of the things are not necessarily the subject matter itself, but the scene. So this is actually a photograph taken.
Talk about it.
It's a photograph that I took in my backyard.
And maybe step it a little bit forward. There you go.
And then I just added the bird in the scene, you know. And I titled it Chitter Chatter, you know, like you see these little house wrens that and they sit on your fence posts and your flower pots, and they just chatter away all day long. So
kind of like us, like when we get into like a creative conversation going, and the hall is like. I want to also personally thank you for the contribution that you have made to making this a 3D painting, you know, to help us create the imagery, the visual. I just personally cannot thank you enough. It really is a joy to work with you. And not only do I love working with you, but can we talk about all of the other, like the big brands? Like your stuff's on t-shirts, your stuff's everywhere. They could go to your website, they could find out so much about you, but.
Yeah, I've had commission pieces, and I've done work that's been on t-shirts. There was an organization in Ocean City, Maryland called MR Ducks that commissioned me. I also do a lot of work with Ducks Unlimited, which is a nationwide conservation group that deals with waterfowl and aquatic species conservation. So I actually have a lot of paintings in limited edition, which Ducks Unlimited uses to sell sponsorships.
And
but I also donate a lot
of
paintings, or I donate a good portion of the paintings that goes into waterfowl and wildlife conservation. So,
and I have one more thank you. One more thank you. You know what else I'm going to thank you for?
Go ahead.
Thank you for your service.
Oh, you're welcome.
To our country.
You're welcome.
It's just cool to know you. And after this, we're going to go to Jersey Mike's.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll go have some subs.
Let's go have some subs. Thank you again. So they can go to your website to find out more.
Yeah, they can go to michaelbyrneart.com, or they can find me on Facebook.
Excellent. Thank you. It's really, like I said, a hidden treasure that I just wanted to share.
The things you don't know, right?
Exactly. Stay tuned for more. We hope you enjoyed this visit with Mike. Be well.